Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 hauntingly beautiful songs in musicals.
But where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most devastating musical theater songs that are notable for some pretty dark subject matter or have an eerie quality that stays with you long after the curtain falls. The tunes in this list might reveal some major plot points, so here's a spoiler alert. Which of these numbers gave you goosebumps? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Why? Tick Tick Boom.
When I was 9, Michael and I entered a talent show down at the Y.
Jonathan Larson's semi-autobiographical musical premiered off-Broadway several years after his premature death. He left his mark with Rent, but Tick Tick Boom is a personal piece about his attempts to make a name for himself in the art form he loved. His character John Solo near the end of the show charts his obsession with trying to get better.
Over and over and over till we got it right.
Given all he's had to sacrifice, he wonders if he's cut out for this career after all. Over and over till we get it right, he repeats throughout the song. Y's repetitive structure keeps winding up and righting itself as it starts to go off track, mirroring the composer's approach to his art, career, and ultimately, his life.
I'm gonna spend my time this way.
Number 19. The Light in the Piazza. The Light in the Piazza.
I don't see a miracle shining from the sky. I'm no good at statues and stories. I try.
A lot of the classic musical love songs are naive and pretty. The title song from The Light in the Piazza is so full of happiness it feels dangerous, and therein lies its power. Clara, the character who sings it, has fallen in love with Fabrizio, a young Italian man, much to the dismay of her overprotective mother. The way she describes her feelings sounds like a person who's sure she's flying too close to the sun and doesn't care.
It's rushing up, it's pouring out, it's flying through the air.
Composer and lyricist Adam Guettle's music is elegant but frantic. Certain sections sound like individual instruments spinning out, following their own emotional tangents before coming back together, and it's breathtaking.
A light in the piazza.
Number 18. Sunday. Sunday in the Park with George.
Sunday by the blue, purple, yellow, red water.
This Sondheim musical is inspired by the life of Georges Seurat and the creation of his painting A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte. Sunday is a song that first appears at the end of Act 1, as George brings harmony to the disparate parts of his painting. The ringing of the ensemble's voices sounds like waves of endless music, and it's a gorgeous piece that takes us into intermission feeling moved. The reprise, for its part, comes at the very end of the show, and is just as hauntingly beautiful, sending audiences back into the real world in inspiring fashion. Both versions of the song speak to the power of art, and are sure to echo for many generations to appreciate.
White, a blank page or canvas, his favorite. So many possibilities.
Number 17. Mama Look Sharp, 1776.
Mama, hey mama, come looking for me. I'm here in the meadow
It may not be Hamilton, but this often overlooked musical about the Second Continental Congress features some haunting and foreboding moments. Throughout the show, an army courier briefly appears to bring updates from the battlefield. In the second act, he describes how his two best friends died on the same day at Lexington. Mama Look Sharp is his one and only number.
I'll close your eyes, my Billy, them eyes that cannot see.
The lyrics describe a young soldier calling out for his mother as he lays dying in the grass. We've spent lots of the musical listening to the congressmen battle and complain about the heat in Philadelphia, but it's the first time the reality of the war comes crashing in on us.
Hey, hey, oh mama, look sharp.
Number 16, Right This Way, Bandstand.
There is a train. It leaves the station at 5:15.
Reviving the old-fashioned big band sound of the 1940s, this post-World War II musical finds a band made up of veterans trying to make it big. The band leader and pianist, Donnie Nowitzki, enters them into a national competition. However, once they win the state competition, they realize they'll have to pay their way to the national finals.
I think that we are entitled to travel first class.
Short on cash, Donnie tries to unite his bandmates through Right This Way. The song's optimism and brass and drums are nothing short of powerful. He's not a man who feels entitled to anything, but he knows they deserve to be recognized for their talent, if not everything they gave up. It's not the only breathtaking number either, as we later feel the soldiers' repressed pain left over from the war. Number 15, Bring Him Home, Les Miserables.
God on high.
Given the title, it's not surprising how many characters in this epic musical are suffering. Its most famous and spine-tingling songs deal with lost hopes, unrequited love, survivor's guilt, and revolution.
When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a light about to sucker tomorrow comes.
Bring Him Home is like a prayer in musical form. Self-sacrificing Jean Valjean has camped out with a group of young revolutionaries to protect Marius, the man his adoptive daughter loves. As night falls and their chances of survival dim, Valjean asks a higher power to protect Marius.
If I die, let him live.
Its religious overtones and allusions to home make it a number that has implications that stretch far beyond the musical's plot. Number 14, Lead Us Out of the Night, Come From Away.
They haven't seen any of it yet.
Lead us out of the darkness.
We were all staring at those images.
And we just stand helpless watching them.
Lead us somewhere to safety.
The population of Gander, Newfoundland is suddenly doubled when 38 airplanes are forced to land there when the American airspace is suddenly closed without explanation. Chaos ensues until everyone learns of the 9/11 attacks. This brief but heartbreaking song captures the moment the American passengers catch up with the rest of the world.
Charles Burlingame was the captain of Flight 77 that crashed into the Pentagon. I just saw him at a pub in London.
Throughout, they can only watch while they worry for their loved ones and pray for the missing, the dead, and the grieving.
So much to be consoled as to
What the musical does so well is capture the confusion of that time, which can be forgotten some 2 decades on now that the details have become known.
Lead us out of the night.
We watched those images for hours.
Number 13, Joanna, Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street.
Joanna, I'll steal you.
Anthony is a sailor who, despite having seen the world, feels most at home in London. When he sees Joanna, the lovely ward of the sadistic Judge Turpin, he decides he loves her. Seeing her as something of a caged bird, he vows to steal her away.
Do they think that walls can hide you? Even now I'm at your window. I am in the dark beside you.
His promises that he'll always be beside her, in the dark, buried in her hair, do give stalker vibes if you look at it through that lens.
Very sweetly in your yellow hair.
But even assuming the purest intentions, Joanna is the judge's prisoner, and Anthony's love song for her is also a promise of rescue.
Goodbye, Joanna. You're gone and yet you're mine.
Number 12, No One Is Alone, Into the Woods.
Mother cannot guide you. Now you're on your own.
As the characters near the end of their journey, the baker and Cinderella comfort their young companions and reckon with what they've learned about loss, consequences, and forgiveness. It's a sweet song for a hard truth.
Mother isn't here now.
Wrong things, right things.
Who knows what she'd say?
Who can say what's
Nothing's
true?
quite so clear now.
Do things, fight things.
They sing about remaining good in spite of the world, even as they struggle to make sense of their own sadness. There's almost a sense they're making the words up as they go along, chasing the truth as it comes to them.
Just remember, someone is on your side. Someone else is not.
Weaving in motifs from other melodies in the show, this climactic song is the culmination of the musical's lessons. It is a fairy tale after all.
They are not alone. No one is alone.
Number 11, She Used to Be Mine, Waitress.
It's not simple to say that most days I don't recognize me.
Jenna is a waitress at a small diner whose love of pie making is all she has to keep her going. When she becomes pregnant with her abusive husband's baby, she saves up enough money to leave him, only for him to steal it and leave her with nothing.
She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time.
The song that composer-lyricist Sarah Bareilles wrote for the moment is a powerhouse ballad that suits the character so perfectly. She mourns the person she used to be, imperfect as she was, and indirectly vows to become that person again.
She used to be mine.
As hopeful as the story turns out to be, the song is such a journey, it's hard to not feel emotionally spent by the end of it.
She is gone, but she used to be mine.
Number 10, Send in the Clowns, A Little Night Music.
Isn't it rich? Are we a pair?
There's nothing quite like reflecting on an ex. Sung by Desiree, Send in the Clowns takes place during Act 2, when she reflects back on an affair she had with Frederick.
Send in the clowns, just when I'd stopped opening doors.
Despite the fact that Frederick was deeply in love with her, Desiree rejected him, and she now realizes that she loves him, but this time around, he rejects her. The clowns Desiree refers to are not actual clowns, but fools like herself.
My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear.
The song itself is written in a complex meter, which is one of the reasons it's so haunting. It sounds like a waltz. Desiree is also furious. She can't outwardly express her anger, so she does what characters do in any musical. She sings about it.
There ought to be clowns. Well, maybe next year.
Number 9. Telephone Wire, Fun Home.
Telephone wire, run and run. Telephone wire, sundown on the creek.
Based on Alison Bechdel's graphic novel Fun Home, this musical centers around Bechdel's own coming out story and the complicated relationship she shared with her own closeted father, Bruce.
At the light, at the light, at the light, at the light. Doesn't matter what you say, just make the fear in his eyes go away.
Sung towards the end of the musical, this is the last conversation Alison has with her dad. She desperately tries to connect with her father while also revealing who she truly is.
Lots of boys messed around, you know. For them, it was a game they outgrew. But I always knew.
Dad, me too, since like 5, I guess.
The song's heartache lies in her father's denial and how they never actually made a connection with each other. The song is even more heartbreaking considering the ending of the musical, where it's hinted that Bruce takes his own life.
Telephone wire. That was our last night.
Number 8. Time Heals Everything, Mac and Mabel.
Time heals everything. Tuesday, Thursday.
Only a true stormy partnership could serve as the inspiration for this haunting melody.
It really seems to haunt people, and I really understand it. It's from a score by Jerry Herman called Mac and Mabel.
Time Heals Everything is part of the musical Mac and Mabel, which centers around silent movie director Mack Sennett, who transforms Mabel, a local waitress, into a star. Mabel develops feelings for Mac, but sadly, Mac puts his work before romance.
I'll forget you by next year, some year, though it's hell that I'm going through.
Time Heals Everything is Mabel's sorrow over how Mac treated her, but also her way of saying, I'll get over him. When it comes to heartbreak, we're often told to give it time, and that's exactly what Mabel is telling herself. The song is particularly haunting when you think about what ultimately happens to the character. She deals with substance use disorder, and by the time Mac tries to make it up to her, she's passed away.
Time heals everything, but loving you.
Number 7. Somewhere, West Side Story.
There's a place for us, somewhere a place for us.
With lyrics by the late, great Stephen Sondheim, West Side Story can be thought of as a modern retelling of the tragedy Romeo and Juliet, except that this version involves street gangs in New York City.
We'll find a new way of living.
We'll find a way of forgiving somewhere.
Somewhere appears during different points of the musical, most notably when Maria sings the first few lines of the song after her true love Tony is shot.
Hold my hand and I'll take you to them. Somehow, someday,
The melody actually borrows from Beethoven's Emperor Piano Concerto and Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, which is why it's so haunting. Tony and Maria's longing to one day be together, somehow, someday, somewhere, is sure to make you cry, especially since their dream never does come true. Number 6, Till We Reach That Day, Ragtime. Ragtime, which has still not been turned into a movie musical and needs to be, follows a series of characters as they navigate life at the turn of the 20th century in New York. Sung at the end of Act 1, Till We Reach That Day takes place at the funeral of Sarah, a young black woman who was beaten to death by the Secret Service. Her friends and family gather to mourn their sweet Sarah, as well as express their anger at a system where black lives do not matter.
What is wrong with this country? She was somebody's child. There are Negroes out there. There are people out there.
The powerful lyrics are still disturbingly relevant today and serve as a reminder that black lives do indeed matter. Number 5, Losing My Mind, Follies.
The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you.
Imagine being so obsessed with your ex-lover that you slowly lose your mind over them. That's the focus of the song Losing My Mind from the musical Follies, which focuses on the reunion of performers known as the Weissman's Follies.
Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right.
Back in the day, Sally was in love with Ben, but he ended their relationship to marry her friend Phyllis. Sally married Buddy, but remained in love with Ben, even though he doesn't love her, at least not in the same way.
Does no one know? It's like I'm losing my mind.
Dressed as a torch singer, Sally sings Losing My Mind about her longing and the fantasy world she has entered where Ben loves her. The song's power lies in Sally's obsession and her wondering whether or not Ben ever did actually love her.
Or am I losing my mind?
Number 4, I'll Cover You Reprise, Rent.
Live in my house. I'll be your shelter.
Based on the opera La Bohème, but set amongst the AIDS crisis in New York during the late 80s and early 90s, Rent has a soaring and inspirational first act that quickly dissolves into tragedy in the second.
But sweet kisses I've got to spare. I will be there and I will cover.
Tom Collins, a local gay professor, falls in love with the vivacious Angel. The pair's relationship was one of the most heartwarming stories in the musical, and their upbeat duet, I'll Cover You, is an expression of their pure love. Sadly, their relationship becomes heartbreaking when Angel dies of AIDS. Collins reprises I'll Cover You as he remembers the love he and Angel shared. The slowed-down version is a reflection of how one person can truly make our lives magical. Number 3. It's Quiet Uptown, Hamilton.
There are moments that the words don't reach.
Even before Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda was emotionally destroying us with In the Heights.
Alabanza, alabanza, Doña Claudia, Señor, alabanza, alabanza.
But Hamilton mixed numerous musical genres to create a spectacular retelling of one of America's founding fathers. Amidst the rap battles is one song that provides a straightforward reflection on mourning through more simple instrumentation. It's Quiet Uptown.
If you see him in the street, walking by himself, talking to himself, have pity.
Philip, you would like it uptown, it's quiet uptown.
Sung towards the end of the musical, It's Quiet Uptown focuses on the unimaginable, a parent's grief over their child's death. Alexander Hamilton, who at this point in the musical has done his wife dirty on numerous occasions, begs for forgiveness as the two try to grapple with their grief.
She takes his hand. It's quiet uptown. Forgiveness.
Although Eliza faces more grief in her life, she doesn't let it get the best of her as she details her accomplishments in Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story.
Oh, can I show you what I'm proudest of? The orphanage. I established the first private orphanage in New York City.
However, It's Quiet Uptown's power lies in its simplicity. Most of the numbers in Hamilton rely on wordplay, rhymes, and double meanings, but this is a straightforward reflection on mourning.
They are going through the
Number 2. You'll Never Walk Alone, Carousel.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark.
The second musical from greats Rodgers and Hammerstein, Carousel isn't exactly one of their more cheerful outings. Sung towards the end of the musical, You'll Never Walk Alone is sung by Nettie to her cousin Julie, whose love Billy has just died in her arms.
Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, all your dreams be tossed and blown.
The song serves as the second act's emotional peak, and its themes center around hope and resilience. Over the years, numerous covers of You'll Never Walk Alone have emerged, and it's become the anthem for medical heroes during COVID. Theatrical performances of the number often use more simple musical arrangements, which allow the inspirational lyrics to shine through. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Memory, Cats. Grisabella the Glamour Cat makes her plea.
Memory, turn your face to the moonlight. Let your memory lead you.
Lily's Eyes, The Secret Garden. Two brothers remember a lost love.
Those eyes that saw me happy long ago. How can I now forget that once I planned to be in love, alive and whole?
Maybe This Time, Cabaret. a cabaret performer hopes her luck will change.
Everybody loves a winner, so nobody love me. Lady peaceful, lady happy.
Somewhere That's Green, Little Shop of Horrors. Audrey dreams of a different life.
I dream we'll go somewhere that's green.
Neverland Reprise, Finding Neverland. Peter Pan carries Sylvia off to Neverland.
Shooting stars, new shapes and sizes, awakenings and new surprises, opening my eyes to something happening. Universe of constant spinning.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Music of the Night, The Phantom of the Opera.
Night time sharpens, heightens each sensation.
We can all pretty much agree that the plot of The Phantom of the Opera, in which a mysterious masked musician who lurks in the bowels of the Paris Opera House and is obsessed with the beautiful soprano Christine, is just a little creepy.
And listen to the music of the night.
There are multiple hauntingly beautiful songs throughout this musical, including the painful lament Christine sings to her father in Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again.
Wishing you were somehow here again. Wishing you were somehow near.
But the music of the night is definitely the most haunting. The Phantom seduces Christine with this song while also revealing his more sinister intentions.
Let your soul take you where you long to
The song itself usually begins slowly, backed by only a few instruments, before the rest of the orchestra joins in, ending on an unbelievable crescendo.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.